Hello, happy Monday. Happy Monday, Ben.
Happy Monday, Tom.
How are you?
I am excellent today.
Excelente.
Yes, sir.
Um, good morning. It's Monday morning, and we are live. This is not pre-recorded, so info at ruralrecoverytalk.com. That's where you'll get a hold of either myself, Ben, or Dr. Tambini. We're on Apple Podcast. We're also on Spotify. Feel free to reach out to us at any point in time with any questions that you may have, and you can obviously reach me personally, Tom at ruralrecoverytalk.com, and Ben at ruralrecoverytalk.com. This light's awfully bright.
Maybe it's just you, Tom, brightening my day.
Loser.
Bromance.
Okay. You ready, Ben?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to kick it over to you,
Am I
okay?
reading?
You're going to read.
I'll try not to
Yeah.
yell this time.
Yeah, please don't
I get
yell.
excited.
Yeah, don't yell.
Maybe I'll step back some. Is that better?
That's good, right? Right,
All right.
get up there.
All right.
Yeah.
Just for today, May 13th. Onward on the journey. The progression of recovery is a continuous uphill journey. Basic text, page 79. The longer we stay clean, the steeper and narrower our path seems to become. But God doesn't give us more than we can handle. No matter how difficult the road becomes, no matter how narrow, how winding the turns, there is hope. That hope lies in our spiritual progression. If we keep showing up at meetings and staying clean, life gets, well, different. The continual search for answers to life's ups and downs can lead us to question all aspects of our lives. Life isn't always pleasant. This is when we must turn to our higher power with even more faith. Sometimes all we can do is hold on tight, believing that things will get better. In time, our faith will produce understanding. We will begin to see the bigger picture of our lives. As our relationship with our higher power unfolds and deepens, acceptance becomes almost second nature. No matter what happens as we walk through recovery, we rely on our faith in a loving higher power and continue onward. Just for today, I accept that I don't have all the answers to life's questions. Nonetheless, I will have faith in the God of my understanding and continue on the journey of recovery. Tom, you going to join me again?
That was really good, Ben.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me make this a little bit smaller. How do I do this? Nope. There we go. We'll just get rid of it. I like that reading.
What's your thoughts?
So, higher power for me is something that's constantly a work in progress, I guess is the best way to put it. When I first got clean and sober, it was, and I think I shared this on a previous Just for Today stream. It was kind of like one of those things that you did because everybody else did. The whole prayer and meditation and all that stuff that comes with having a higher power. But and that's coming from, I was obviously raised a Christian, but it wasn't obviously practicing. But the longer that I've been sober, the more that my relationship has improved, and it's become more of a relationship versus like, something that, hey, Tom, make sure you pray in the morning because I told you to pray. Or, hey, Tom, make sure you meditate on, or whatever the case is. In the beginning, a lot of it was I was doing it because people were telling me to, not because I wanted to. But there was a part of the reading. We will begin to see the bigger picture in our lives as our relationship with our higher power unfolds and deepens. Acceptance becomes almost second nature. That, I think, is the most relevant part of this reading. Somebody's coming up.
Somebody else.
Acceptance becomes almost second nature. That, I think, is the most true part for me, because the longer that I've been sober, the more that I just come to the realization that I have control over almost absolutely nothing. And it becomes easier the longer that you're sober. So I like the reading. It was good. Here, what do you have?
So Tom mentioned raised a Christian. I am more of the agnostic temperament. Gnostic meaning knowledge. You put ag in front of it means without. So I'm a man without knowledge. Like I'm always seeking proof of a higher power, if you will. I definitely have a God in my own understanding. Want to make that part clear. But there's a part in the big book in particular that talks about we're sticklers for facts and results. And one thing that I like to do in relation to this reading is really evaluate the evidence of watching others on their path. At this point, mine included. However, in early recovery, one of the only things we can do is look at the others that have done it before us. And I just kind of want to throw out there that my whole recovery process and the knowledge that I attain is usually 2020 hindsight, where life will come about. There's no doubt about it. Just because I put down the drink and the drug doesn't mean that life's going to be all rainbows and Red Bull, right, Tom?
That's right.
Yeah. So if you examine like a lot of the literature, other people's stories and speaker meetings, they're going to tell you like, I would say it was 2 years of sobriety before my life really started to like feel like it meant something. I mean, that's a long time in sobriety. Everyone thinks, oh, if I just get to a year. It took me 2 years to really start feeling something. At the third year, I was like, okay, this is making sense. But going back to like the evidence part, 2020 hindsight, when I'm running into trouble in my life or life gives me challenges, I'm at the point where, I go and I talk to the men that I have in my life, get some suggestions, do my best to follow those suggestions. Sometimes I'm really slow to take those suggestions if I'm honest, but by applying it, I eventually get to where I need to go. And the whole thing is like looking back now, all those challenges make sense today. They didn't back then. I'm like, why the hell is life doing this to me? What is going on? But then I look back after having gone through it and I'm like, oh, because I had that challenge, I had to divert my path, but that path pushed me in a better direction, if that makes sense. If there's an obstacle, a lot of times we go through it. Problem with addicts and alcoholics in early recovery and active addiction, we see an obstacle, we go head on like a bull in a china shop. And the whole point is a lot of times in early recovery, one of the suggestions that I make to people, and I have to tell myself as well, is when I don't know what to do, sometimes I do nothing. I just do my best to not make the situation worse. I sit back, I pray and meditate on it. For me, I use the words prayer and meditation, but it literally means like, hey, Ben, just take a step back. You don't have to take any action on whatever this problem is right now. Because to be honest, a lot of the times our problems of our own making, or we make them up in our head. You ever had a situation, Tom, where like you're, say, what we're related to the workplace? You're in work one day, something's a major problem, and you go in the next day and it just like resolved itself. But had you like jumped right to, oh my God, this is a problem, let's do something about it right this second, we tend to make things worse. Where a lot of times any confrontation or challenges just kind of resolve themselves a lot of time with time. And if they don't, it usually calms down enough to where we can like be like, okay, here's what we need to look at, here's what we need to evaluate. Let's go about it this way. I mean, a big part of prayer and meditation is planning and doing things methodically, strategically, and always from a place of love and good motives. So life will be hard. Life will kick you in the butt. It doesn't matter that you put down the drink and the drug. How are you going to handle it? In fact, you know what? Let me say this. I say this all the time. I think life in many ways actually gets harder once you're sober. You have more responsibilities. Like you get all the things that you asked for, the family, the house, the car, the new job, that maybe it's a lot more responsibility. The challenges probably get harder. We just get better at handling them. And that's what the program is for within sobriety, within getting clean. AA, NA, whatever, celebrate recovery, whatever you do. It's about how we address life. Nowhere is, at least to my knowledge, nowhere in the 12 steps does it really teach us how to quit drinking or drugging. It teaches us how to live life. That's the irony in the whole thing. Make sense?
Yep. Sure does.
How long did we go for?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. 10 minutes just for today.
10-minute just for today. All right. Thank you. Again, you can reach us, info@realrecoverytalk.com. We're on Apple Podcast and Spotify. You can reach me personally, Tom at realrecoverytalk.com and Ben at realrecoverytalk.com, and we'll see you tomorrow.